Hey there guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about F1 the movie. So this movie came out about a week and I'm a little bit late to this movie. Now, I do like Formula 1. I don't really watch it as much as any other sport like football, for example, which is my most watched sport, but I do like watching Formula 1 from time to time. So it was very this movie would have caught my eye, but I just never really had the time yet to actually watch this in the cinema until now. Now, I have seen that this movie has been getting lots of positive reviews. A lot of people do really like this movie. And I can safely say, watching this movie, it's very, very good. And I'm a little bit surprised why I'm very late to this movie. Now, even though I am late to talk about this movie, it's better late than never to actually talk about my thoughts about it. And being surprised to actually watch it because I kind of had the impression going into it, it felt it was going to be so much of a promotional movie to essentially get people into watching F1, which part of it is, but I actually think the movie does pretty well on its own. So, the movie itself is directed by Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick. And obviously, Top Gun Maverick is a brilliant movie. I've watched that movie multiple times and it never gets boring every single time I watch it. It's still a blast of a film. Now, I don't think this movie is better than Top Gun Maverick, but a lot of the filming and the whole set pieces, like mostly the driving set pieces in this movie, is incredibly shot well. Like, absolutely flawless. I don't really have any complaints when it comes to the filming or the cinematography, and most of the sort of the camera work, essentially, of trying to get the how they film the cars. Like, you can really like hear the audio, like how the cars will clip the apex. Even slight contacts as well. Like, even slight contacts will be very, very loud, and they actually do have detrimental impacts, like whether a car will slide and go off the track, or just things happen. And it does that incredibly well. The story itself, I would say, it's not too in-depth. It's a very simple premise. So you have Brad Pitt's character, who is called Sonny Hayes, and he was a former F1 driver about 30 years ago, and he retired from it because of a very, very bad accident. And he's been doing other races under various driving competitions, I should say, away from Formula 1. And he did 24 hours of Daytona until he meets Ruben, played by Javier Bardem. And Ruben is essentially owns the Apex Formula 1 team. And he essentially gets in contact with Sonny for him to join the Apex F1 team, because they've been struggling and they need to try and get results to help their investors improve confidence in them from a potential sell, which will mean that some of the drivers like Joshua Pierce would be at risk of losing his position with the F1 team. So Joshua Pierce as well as Sonny have to work together to try and get results to build investors' confidence. And sometimes you would see a lot of rivalry between the two. And sometimes you would see a lot of tension. And also you would see some moments of joyfulness, sometimes when they get the results, they feel happy. Sometimes there would be a setback, and there could be very detrimental setbacks as well, like very bad collisions or potential lead up to death, essentially. I don't want to get into spoilers of what those scenes would be, but there are some very dramatic scenes, and they really do shoot this movie well with what I would say a very simple narrative. Now, I think another thing I do appreciate about the F1 movie, I do like the sense of realism they try and portray in this film. Like, most of the training and also the life of an F1 driver trying to get himself back onto the road and essentially try and train and improve and just trying to work with the team to find the best strategy to go into the race. Like, they do a lot of that very well. Also, part of the realism of this movie is they use actual F1 drivers in this movie. They're not putting any impact on this film, okay? They don't do any dialogue exchange with any of the actors at all. They're just essentially there as just showpieces, okay? Or I will probably be a little bit harsh, but they're kind of like Madame Tussauds statues, okay? They don't actually talk, they're just there. But they obviously do replicate the realism of actual F1 drivers with their actual F1 teams. And I think they filmed this about during the 2023 season, I believe. Although I could be wrong. So they do try and use a lot of those sense of realism in this movie. And also they use the actual F1 commentators, David Croft and also Martin Brundle, doing like a lot of the commentating. And that kind of adds a lot of the sort of the subtleties to this movie very well, because obviously they're like the very famous commentators in F1 commentating on most of the action that happens, and you would hear most of their action talking about Sonny Hayes and as well as Joshua Pierce, and essentially like how all the twists and turns can happen. But overall, this movie is a fun film. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I love a lot of the direction and the cinematography that the movie portrays very well. I love the drama. You know, the acting's also very good as well. And I think certainly if you like Formula One, this movie does a very good job of it. Like, you know, replicating a lot of the tracks, a lot of the drivers, a lot of the action. I don't think that you will be disappointed with this movie if you like F1. Now, I'm not so sure for people who don't watch F1 or don't understand the sport itself, whether they would enjoy it or not. I don't know whether this movie might be interpreted as a niche movie based on that, whether you like F1 or not. But I think for me, like, knowing that I've watched Formula One and kind of do understand a lot about Formula One, I would say that I do really enjoy this movie based on my bias towards that, understanding the sport. But yeah, really good movie. But yeah, if you want to leave your thoughts on what you think of F1 the movie, I do like to hear your thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you want to dislike. Thank you for watching. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.